Hi, everybody. My name is Samriti, and today we'll be going into more depth about the different types of verbs. So, last lesson, we briefly did an introduction to verbs. More specifically, we covered what verbs are and when to use them. To briefly recap, verbs are the ones to perform the action so everything else can take place. They are doing words. We use them so the subject can do something. If you're still confused about what verbs are and when to use them, I recommend referring back to the Introduction to Verbs YouTube video on the Instilt Educate YouTube channel. So, as I said before, today we'll be going over the different types of verbs in more detail. The different types of verbs that we'll cover are action verbs, irregular verbs, linking verbs, and helping verbs. So, action verbs. Action verbs show physical or mental action. Physical action refers to what your body is doing, movement. Mental action refers to what your brain is doing, so thinking, feeling, liking, disliking, understanding. So those are all verbs that represent mental action. Physical action would be actively doing something, what your body is doing. So I am waving, I am smiling, I am eating, if I was eating right now. So those would all be examples of action verbs that represent physical action. So some examples of sentences using action verbs are shown on the screen right now. The dog walks. The cat runs. I jumped. They think the movie is good. She doesn't understand the movie. So if you think you have a good understanding of action verbs right now, I recommend pausing the video and trying to identify the action verb in each of these sentences. So hopefully you're back now and have tried identifying the action verb in each of those sentences. The answers are on the screen right now. All of the bolded words are the action verbs. As you can see, the dog walks. Walk is the action verb, or walks is the action verb in this sentence here, because the dog, the subject, is performing a physical action, walking. The cat runs. The cat is the subject. Runs is the action verb, because the cat, the subject, is doing a physical action as represented with the word runs. I jumped. I am the subject. Jumped is the action verb. I, the subject, am doing a physical action. I am jumping. Or I jumped. They think the movie is good. So here it's a little bit different. As you can see, they think the movie is good. So here, they is the subject and think is the action verb that represents a mental action. She doesn't understand the movie. So understand is the action verb that represents a mental action that she, the subject, is doing. So there is a difference between the sentences that are in blue and the sentences that are in red. So try to figure that out. Okay, so hopefully you saw that the blue sentences all show physical action and the red sentences all show mental action. So physical action, the dog walks, the cat runs, I jumped. These are all things that their body is doing. Mental action, they think the movie is good. She doesn't understand the movie. These are all things that the brain is doing. So that should hopefully help clear that distinction. So hopefully now you understand what action verbs are, when to use them, and that distinction between mental action and physical action. So now let's do a little bit of practice. So here you see 3 images. Try to come up with your own sentence using action verbs for each 3 of these images. So hopefully you've come up with your sentences. So let's go through these together. So the first image shows 2 people with a mixing bowl and a spoon. So you can kind of assume that they are baking or they are cooking. So here the action being performed is baking or cooking. So you could say they bake, they cook. Since there's more than one person, you would use they. And since they are cooking, seemingly cooking, you can say they cook. In the second picture, we see a girl doing yoga or meditating. So you can say that the action being performed is yoga or meditation, and the verb that you can use is meditates or performs yoga. So you could say she meditates. The last image shows two people again who seem to be walking. And so that's the action being performed, walking. So you can say they walk. And so walk is the action being performed. Walk is the action verb you could use for this image. So here we have three sentences with action verbs in them. She reads an exciting adventure novel every weekend. The artist paints vibrant landscapes on a blank canvas. Students write creative stories during class. So pause this video now and try to identify the action verb in each one of these sentences. So hopefully you've given that a try. So let's go through these together. She reads an exciting adventure novel every weekend. The action verb in this sentence is reads. That's the action that she, the subject, is performing. More specifically, reads would be a physical action. The artist paints vibrant landscapes on a blank canvas. Here, paints is the action verb because the artist, the subject, is performing a physical action, which is painting. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching and paying attention. Goodbye, and see you next time.